Good evening, everybody. Here, Anthony Six Scale Mafia. This is episode 3 of Calling the Shots, where you, if you're a channel member of the channel, get to call in and we talk, we express our thoughts on Saturday night's Tales from the Dark Side, previous evening's discussion. I encourage you guys, if it's something you want to do, link in the description below. Go check out the previous stream, become a channel member, call in. It's awesome. Good times, guys. So that's what we're going to be doing here this evening. We're going to be talking about franchise fatigue, other things of that nature, where you're going with your collection, what are you doing with your displays, all great stuff, guys. So stay tuned. Here we go right now. All right, well, who am I talking to tonight?
It's Paul.
Oh, hey, what's up, Paul? What's up, man? See, what's going on, man?
What's up, man?
No.
Yeah, I'm a little fatigued. I haven't bought any in a while, probably about 2 months since I've really made a purchase.
Mm.
That's because, stuff's taking forever to come in. My last figure that I had come in was a Ahsoka. And, of course, I waited almost 2 years for that one, and with prices going up and just a little fatigued.
Yeah, they are kind of going up a bit. That was one of the concerns, at least for me. And then on top of it, like the quality of some of the shows for me in conjunction kind of makes me feel a little burnt. But I wasn't sure because we talked about it a bit last night, and I know some people it doesn't matter to them. You're saying you're a little fatigued. I mean, do you think it's like just a phase or?
Yeah, it's just a phase. I mean, I did, I missed out on K2, and I did pre-order KX. I know I'm going to get Vader and Obi-Wan, but I think I'm waiting to order them.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could definitely wait. The weird thing is, too, is we've been seeing a lot of stuff hit wait list. So that's my other reservation, right? Because like half of it, you feel like maybe you're a little burnt. But on the other half, you're like, oh, shit, like, things are hitting waitlist before they're in stock. So,
yeah,
it's a weird position to be in,
I'm
right?
thinking those two, I've got time, because I think they're going to make a large quantity of them because they know how popular them two characters are. So, I think I've got a little bit of time on them.
Hopefully, right? That's what I'm worried about, because when that happens, it's like, uh-oh. I'm gonna have to pre-order it,
Yeah, because I did order. My last figures I ordered earlier in the year was R2, C3PO, and the Clone Trooper.
Oh, okay,
That's the last, pretty much, what I ordered.
Now that was in what, May?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now we're hitting October. Yeah. So okay, I get that. And it's a little rough. When we're waiting and stuff like that. So, to see like, do we feel like certain things? Because that was my thing. Like, in particular with Marvel was, there was so many. There was so much, like so many movies and shows now that I'm like, oh shoot, like I don't need all of them, right?
Yeah.
Because you have some, and I used Thor as an example last night, but like, is that something like, for example, where you were like, you know what, I want like every Thor or something?
No,
you know what I mean?
I mean, I've got one Thor. I got the fat Thor, and that's probably the only one I'm going to keep or get. I don't have a huge Marvel line. I've probably only got about 6 or 7 Marvel figures. I'm mostly Star Wars.
Okay, well, yeah. See, and even with Star Wars, right? I mean, I feel, for me, I don't feel too much of the fatigue with Star Wars as opposed to Marvel, but that could be just because I have more. I don't know. I relate more to the Star Wars franchise than I do the MCU in that example.
Exactly. There's lots of Star Wars that I still want to pre-order, but it's, with the prices slowly creeping up. Like, I'm ready to order Bo-Katan, but she just keeps getting delayed. I should have ordered her a long time ago, but You know,
Well,
she just got delayed again.
yeah, I know, right? Because she should have been out a couple months ago already.
Yeah.
Yeah, that part. I'm not a fan of that one. That one got delayed. I think even like Batman and Robin, who I want, from Batman Forever. It's a little refreshing though, right? Because that's something of an older movie. It's not the standard, like the new current stuff that's just churning and churning and churning, right? That's why I'm like, ooh, I want stuff like that. I miss that.
I thought we were going to get the '89 Batman, and then I seen on the Facebook that he jumped up for. They had 2 figures, and so is that done or what?
I know, right? I don't know what's going on with that, right? Because they did show that off. They showed off a new diorama base for him, but they haven't announced it yet. So it's like we just have to wait. We have to wait and see, right?
Yeah, I mean that's a big reason why I got the Mars Toys '89 Joker. I was like, I've got to get the '89 Batman now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude. Yeah, and they just dropped the '66 Joker today. I don't know if you saw that, the Mars Toys.
Yeah, I did.
Ooh, that looks really good. 3 versions.
Yeah, I can't jump down that rabbit hole because I can't go hunting down the Batman and Robin. It's too much.
Right. No, I get that. I totally do. I just think it was really cool to see stuff like that. That's the stuff that I like. Even if it's, even if it doesn't have to be Hot Toys. It's just the fact that like you're getting figures from other properties that are older. I think that's where maybe I'm feeling a little jaded in that sense because I feel like we're just getting, Star Wars and Marvel.
Oh yeah, I remember watching the old Adam West Batman in the '80s when I was a kid.
Oh yeah, I loved it. So seeing stuff like that, you're like, oh, okay, cool. Or even just like how they recently announced RoboCop again. Stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm into more. Like I miss that. It's not that I don't enjoy, for me, like Marvel and Star Wars. It's just it feels like that's all we mostly get these days. So it almost becomes predictable, right?
Yeah, they milk the new stuff, but lots of people love the old nostalgic old stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Absolutely. Go ahead. I'm
but
sorry.
I'll jump off here and let someone else call in if they want to.
Well, hey man, no, it's cool, man. I appreciate you calling in, Paul, man. That's awesome, dude. So, I'm glad you enjoyed the show last night, and we got, it's just stuff to think about. It was just food for thought, right? Seeing how we feel about continuing onward at a slower pace, maybe, or stuff like that.
Yeah, it's great discussion, and it's a great topics for the channel. I really enjoy the channel a lot.
No, I appreciate it, brother. I really do, man. I really do. So, yeah, man, it was good to hear from you, man. And yeah, we'll talk again soon for sure.
All right, man. Thanks a lot.
All right, brother. All right, man. Hey, what's going on? Who am I talking to tonight?
Hey, man. CT603 calling in from New Hampshire.
Oh, CT603, my dude. How you doing, bro?
Pretty good. What's going on, man?
Well, another day, another call, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Man, this weekend went by too quick. Way too quick. But just a quick thoughts and prayers to all the folks and fellow collectors down in Florida.
Yes.
With that hurricane, with that mess. I know we got Doc Snizzle down there, so thinking about him. If he's okay.
Yeah, we got a lot of Floridans there, man. Floridians, as it were, man. So I'm hoping everybody's good.
Yeah, well, if anyone's listening, I did want to go ahead and offer my assistance. I won't do anything physical, but I will go ahead and pay pennies on a dollar for your Hot Toys collection. So.
Oh, you're too kind, sir.
Too soon? Too soon,
yeah.
Probably, right? Yeah.
No, but
well.
Yeah, man.
Help out any way I can.
No, of course. No, I get it. I totally get it. I totally get it, man. Yeah. So thoughts?
Fatigue,
Is it a thing for you?
Almost. I think you hit lulls, and right now we're at this time where Disney I'm not fatigued by Star Wars. You know, that's my IP. And
Right.
I am not fatigued by that. But Disney's fatiguing me with their content. And now Hot Toys, and you see it, they've got to keep up, right?
Right.
I mean, come on. They're offering us all these Inquisitors when we're all sitting for original trilogy. You know, so that's what's going to happen. That's where we're at. And I am, you know, hey, the state of the collection is such. We got 63 figures on display. We got 30 open orders, 14 of which are paid for. All right.
Right.
I have held off on pre-orders only because I'm unmotivated. It's 𝗦𝗢𝗖𝗜𝗓, the Grand Inquisitor. I just that show just didn't do it for me, man. I just don't feel like, and everyone's done the math. You know, if you buy 𝗦𝗢𝗓, you're in it for the Grand Inquisitor. Now you're in it for the other two. So you're in it for $1,000. You're in it for $1,000, and how much space are you going to dedicate now to those guys? I get it. They look hot. They'll look great if you get all four. If you lay down $1,000, you know.
Well,
and I'm not ready
two.
for that, you know. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying possibly $2,000, right? Because you know I was looking at the 4 Inquisitors, Vader, and 2 Purge Troopers.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, no, you know, certainly you can mix it up, but you know, typically, you know what they're doing. They're laying it down. They know they want to sell you all 4. They want to sell you everything, you know. And I'm not biting. This content. It's just going to keep coming. Disney's going to keep throwing it at us, and I can't buy all that. I've got to stay focused on original trilogy, Clone Wars alone. Look, I did it with quarter scale. I know what I'm signing up for on 6 scale. It's going to come continuous, fast, furious. I've got vehicles. I've got 5 vehicles I got to make room for. I got a swoop bike, a scout with speeder, a heavy clone on bark, Apple on bark, a snow speeder coming in. You know, so that's what I've got now. I've got to make room for that. I've got to build displays and have room for that. So when there's a lull like this, you know, for me, I take advantage of it. I got to build that stuff. I got to get ready. And in regards to these figures, yeah, I'm not pre-ordering. I figure, you know, they'd be nice in the collection, but I don't feel like I have to have them. And if there's a figure that I'm going to wait for and try to get a deal on it later, those are the ones, you know. And if I miss out on them, I'm sure they're going to go ahead and tell me that it's low stock and it's on wait list, and I'll make that decision then. But right now, I'm not biting. I'm not.
Yeah, no, I totally get that, bro. I mean, and that's kind of how I'm feeling too. Like, there's a lot of product, right? And you know, one could argue that it's good that we're getting all this content, but like you said, there's a flip side to it, because while I enjoy getting more content to watch, then it's also in tandem with Hot Toys releasing figures too. So it's kind of this double effect, you know, where you're like, oh, cool, I got some shows to watch. That's neat. But then you're like, oh man, well now I know all these Hot Toys are coming too, and we're still waiting on other ones, right?
Yeah, and you know that the content isn't that great. You know, not, you know, Mandalorian. That was really it. That really that's come streamed, that people have really, that has opened up my wallet. You know, everything else was it's okay, it's enjoyable, but I don't feel like I need to go out and buy a She-Hulk. I don't think I don't feel like I need to go buy a Wandering Vision, you know. And that's where, you know, I'm more of a you know, a comic book snob, and I would want the comic book version, which they don't do. You know, Hot Toys wants to say the sculpt and do the movie version. I think that'll change. Hopefully that'll change, and we'll get comic book versions. We're getting a couple, you know, and I've got those, and I hope that continues. That's something I'm interested in. So if you're listening, Howard, comic book versions.
Right. Oh man, that's the thing, because I've always been the comic book guy, right? So when I see stuff like that, I'm like, okay, that can be a problem for me, because that's where I would go, right? That's the path that I want to go. Versus, and I've said this before on other shows, is that, with Star Wars, I grew up with the original trilogies, and so your very first exposure to Star Wars is the films, right? So you expect a Mark Hamill or a Harrison Ford or Carrie Fisher, figure, right? Because that's what you saw for your first time. For me, for comics, my first, exposure to them was the actual comic books. So it's different for me. Like, I enjoyed the MCU for a while for what it was. It was really cool to see the comics characters that I grew up reading, on a screen. But I'm not excited to get, said actor as a portrayal of said superhero. It doesn't click with me. Like, you know what I mean? Because like I said, the exposure for me was the comics. So when you drop me a comic book version of that said hero, I'm more inclined to go that way, because this guy's just an actor portraying something that I read a long time ago that has a different, it hits different in my head. Does that make sense?
It does. Hugh Jackman, man, when Hugh Jackman got Wolverine, everyone loves the guy. It took a long time for that guy. He earned it. He earned it the hard way, because the guy's way too tall, didn't want it, didn't like it. And, so the last thing I want is a Hugh Jackman Wolverine in my display. I do now, and I've got one on order. It's a great version of one,
right?
But it took a long time, and there are very few actors out there that have done that. Robert Downey is one who's done that, and that would be one. I don't want goddamn Iron Man. I want a Iron Man.
Yeah, I get that.
It. I want a Thor, a Wolverine. That's all. That's all I have room for. Focused on Star Wars here. Come on.
Well, and to your point, I agree with you, man. Like Hugh Jackman, he ended up earning that. It took a while, but I agree, because like I was like, no, that's not Wolverine. But it wasn't even so much him as like the Fox interpretations of those movies. They didn't work for me, because I was like, this isn't even comic. No. They're not even like following anything from the comics. It was so weird to me. And then seeing him and being like, oh, this guy's tall and what the heck, it's weird. And it was a combination of all that stuff, right? But over time, like, you're right, I agree with you. Like, he's earned that position as the movies went on. And I think Logan was like a fantastic movie as well. So I was like, okay.
That was probably the closest I've ever felt that he got to Wolverine.
Yeah, agreed.
As the written character, to be honest. And it was nice to see him end on that. So I'm a little hearing that he's going to do Deadpool. Of course, I want it. I'm going to see it. But I'm a little nervous, because I thought he was going to bow out on Wolverine. He did it right. He did it right with that movie,
That is true.
Hey, we'll see what happens. But fatigue, I think Disney is going to have that effect on a lot of people, especially a lot of people that are new to collecting. You've collected comics. I've collected comics. The comic book world's done this over. Hasbro has done this with 3/4. You can get fatigued. But this is new. Disney's now just got their hand on the tap, and they can just put out as much content as they want. It can be crap or it can be great. And right now it's probably mediocre.
I can see that. Bro. So we just have to be a little more selective moving forward, I think, well, at least that's my feeling. I can't speak for everybody out there, but I feel like moving forward, right, cherry pick a little bit more, unless it's something that you're really, really, like you said, like original trilogy. That's
well, look, it doesn't take much, does it? Mandalorian comes back on, it could be as great as the first 2 seasons and everyone's wallet is opening again. They're all in. They're buying figures, you know. It could be one Marvel movie. You know, it could be one series. It doesn't take much to really turn it around and make that fatigue go away. But
Right.
if they don't, though, right? We've seen a couple shows come out now, and it's almost like they hit, you know, gold with that Mandalorian. They can't get that formula. They can't get it going again.
Can't capture lightning in a bottle twice, huh?
I don't know. You know, it seemed like they did with that one episode that they inserted in Book of Boba Fett, but maybe it's just that team. You know,
It could be.
I don't know.
Because I love Mando. I'm looking forward to season 3, but everything else has been, you know, okay.
This season looks fire. All those Mandalorians, that's what got me into the buying. You know, I told you Mandalorian brought me in, and then just seeing that the actual Mandalorian was really going to expand on Mandalore and all that. And that Death Watch, everything.
Oh, yeah.
And this season is just going to be insane. So I'm okay. I've got a lot of pre-orders I got to catch up on. You know, I'm good for about 6 figures every quarter. You know, so we got our numbers. We're comfortable where we're at. And we're still waiting on an N1 and an ATRT and a lot of big things that could drop. So, I'm not fatigued. I could use the breather, be quite honest with you.
No, that's great, man. That's great, dude. So, well, I appreciate you calling in, brother, man. We'll probably wrap on that one, dude. I know I got a couple people on the line, but I'm glad, man. I'm glad you enjoyed last night's discussion. I know some people were a little not too sure, but you know, it's just, you know, wanting to know, like, what do people feel about that, right? Because, you know, I think it's a valid question. You know, at some point, are we just chasing stuff? So,
yeah, and the economy is a real thing.
Yeah,
you know, so you're feeling pressure there. So that can almost, you know, amplify the fatigue. Like, you know what, I'm done. So I understand it. I get it. But you can always come back. You can always take a break.
Oh, yeah.
You can always stop.
You can always take a break,
come
man.
back.
So
quitting doesn't mean you have to, you know, stop forever.
Yeah.
But hey, thanks for letting me get on. Let's let someone else get in there. I'm going to kick back and listen to the show.
All right, my friend. I appreciate it, dude. I'll talk to you soon, man. Alrighty. All right. See ya. Yo, what is good, my friend?
Hey, what's up with you?
What is up? This is Brother Cousins.
What's up with you? How's everybody doing?
Doing good, man. What is going on, man? This is the first time you've called in.
Yeah, this is pretty cool, man. It's a real cool format. You know, taking it back, a little bit of something old, a little something new. I love it. I love it, man.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate that. You know, I would ask you your thoughts on last night's stream, but you were there.
Exactly. I don't know if we could talk about this, but I guess I heard through the grapevine a few people thought the conversation was a tad negative. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily think so. I mean, in the sense that, you know, people have opinions, and I don't think anybody was being very what's the word I'm looking for? Not necessarily negative, but I understand that, like, you know, we want to like everything, right? We want to like everything.
Right.
But
exactly.
in the topic of just franchise fatigue, and the reason I brought that up, honestly, is because, you know, obviously it's been a slow week, and it wasn't really to, like, you know, bring people down or anything like that. I generally wanted to know everybody's opinion on the panel and then in the chat of, like, how do you feel overall? Because, you know, for me, like, I don't know, like, She-Hulk hasn't really been hitting for me. Miss Marvel didn't really hit for me. Believe it or not, Loki didn't hit for me. And this is just Marvel. But I feel like too much content. And no matter what, I guess even if they were all home runs, I still would almost feel that way. Because even, like, if you remember, you know, all the MCU movies kept coming out, and they were great movies. But even then, knowing that all those movies were great, I still was feeling a little fatigued by them.
Very true. Very true. I think honestly, by the time I remember when Ragnarok came out, I was kind of thinking about, I hope this is good. I hope this is good. I remember, seeing people, saying like, hey, I hope this is good. It looks good. It looks great. I hope it's good.
Right.
Thor movies, a lot of people didn't. I know a lot of people didn't like Thor: The Dark World, which I did. I thought it was great, but there was question. The fatigue kind of was creeping in at that time, because also people got to understand they were building the whole DCEU at the time, so we were just bombarded with superhero movies at that time. So even when Ragnarok, Black Panther, and Infinity War, those three movies kind of came out back to back, which were all, I think everybody could say those were all home runs. It was still that fatigue there. Okay, now Endgame is over, and we're in this whole new era with this Disney Plus stuff, and we're just bombarded with so much content. You have so many different streaming services vying for your attention. So it's just a lot, because it's a lot to take in. So like you said, I totally agree with you. Even if these were home runs, yes, I still think the fatigue would be there. And I think that's what we were all trying to convey last night. I don't think anybody on the panel was being, negative just for the sake of being negative or trying to crap on the show. And I'll say, if that came down to, if just on my part, if it sounded like that came from me, I apologize. I'm apologizing to the community.
Oh no,
right now.
I didn't think
that was
personally.
Yeah, that wasn't. I don't think that was any of our intents. Honestly, I don't. But we do try to keep it light. We do want to take consideration of people's feelings. But yeah, it is a thing that I mean personally, I do feel that the writing is a way more loose than it was when we got those original films, those Marvel films.
100.
Definitely.
Well,
you would agree to that.
Well, absolutely. Like, I was actually going to counter that statement there, because it's like when you watch something like, and then maybe it's a matter of opinion, but when I watch shows like The Expanse or Cobra Kai, what is it? The Boys. There's a lot of like great shows out there with like phenomenal writing that really pull you in. Granted, it's not all sci-fi, right? I mean, The Expanse, is definitely a sci-fi show. But my point is like writing, I think, is always paramount for anything to be great, right? I mean, if you watched even older shows on HBO, like The Wire, or what else? Boardwalk Empire, or even like stuff like Justified, on FX, stuff like that. Like the writing is what like really pulls me in, regardless of the scenario that's set, right? So
exactly,
when you get good stuff like that, and you're like, man, well, do I have time to sit down and try to get into something that I feel like you said, it almost feels like some things are not up to the standard that they had previously set, right? Does that make sense?
Exactly. Absolutely. And I think that's all that we're saying. That's where we're coming from with it. It's just that the bar was set a certain way, and now we're getting stuff under the bar. I mean, even some people would say, even with the CGI, even with the effects, and it has been that way. If you look at the CGI work, and me and you are both in the field, so we know, look, we can look at some of the work in WandaVision, or even some of the work in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's some of the other shows, the work is not up to par. But even within those shows, some episodes you could tell have a little higher budget than others. So they have to play around with the budget to make that stuff work. And this is new. This is a new thing to get this level, to get these actors and everything working on a television show budget. At the end of the day, it's still a television show budget. That's what people have to understand. These are not, they're still multi-millions of dollars, but it's still not, where it was 100 million. It's probably not, it's probably, 60 or 50. It's not the same. So you're not going to get that level, but I don't know. It's just, I just think that, I don't know. It goes back to the writing. I don't think even those things would be so big of a deal if the writing wasn't there. Because when we look, I mean, if you looked at the effects on Luke with The Mandalorian season 2, I mean, we were just happy. The storytelling was so good.
Right.
I said it. It could have been Mark Hamill's head on a popsicle stick. I would have been screaming still.
Right. Exactly. Right. Because the writing, you're like, oh my God, it's Luke. Like, even though the CG was, you know, kind of, they did a lot better in the next season of Mando, of course. But no, I agree with that, man. I totally agree with that. And the problem with it is, at least what I was trying to convey is because of that, because of the things you're just talking about, is that Disney is still going to get Hot Toys to make these figures. So that's where I'm like, oh shoot, like if I'm not really super connected to it, as much as I may love the property, if I'm not feeling like you're hitting these home runs for me, then I guess, you know, obviously if I don't like it, I don't buy it. But then, you know, I look at it like, well, with so much content coming out, they also want to have merchandise, right? And in our case, it's Hot Toys. So then I say, oh shoot, if you're going to keep pumping all this stuff out, then we're going to have the figures that are coming out with it as well. But we're also so far behind, you know, with Hot Toys that's where I'm like, damn, I'm getting a little burnt, because let's get all the stuff out that's supposed to come out. And it's not Hot Toys' fault. You know, if Disney's going to keep cranking this stuff out, they got to keep making figures. So you're just like, that's what I mean.
Exactly. And I think you were hitting on that last night. I think we talked about that. Like, even Hot Toys is probably becoming a little fatigued with Disney. Like, oh my God, we want to do so many other things, but the Disney stuff is just, they're bombarding us with so many shows. And this hasn't been done before. That's the thing. And I mean, and as collectors, it's easy for us to not just us be fatigued with the property, not just us being fatigued with the figures, but our wallets are going to be fatigued.
Yeah, bro.
And the space is going to be fatigued. Look how many people are moving the �馬😓 cases, because it's so many figures we're trying to, like, you know, contain and have displayed. And so it's, you know, it's just more. So this is it's a great time, but it is, people always have to look like this. My mom always said, too much of a good thing is not good.
Yeah. No, I am with you, man. And you're right. That's an interesting point with 𝗦𝗓 cases, because DTOFs are just not going to suffice anymore.
Nope.
With a lot of collectors, even new collectors coming in. I mean, they're about to get unloaded on, you know, with all these different properties. And again, it depends on what you like, but if you like a lot of it, you're going to end up getting a lot of it. So it's a lot of stuff, dude. It's a lot of stuff.
Just look at Mando. Look at the Mando line. Mando line is ridiculously huge, and just about every figure in the Mando line is good. Oh yeah, good figures. I can't find one figure that's like, oh, this is kind of a dud figure in the Mando line. No, they're all good. Maybe the armorer. Maybe I'm looking. I was going to say maybe the armorer, but from that episode in Book of Boba Fett, that figure kind of redeems itself.
Yeah, well, and it's not even so much the character either. I was only looking at it as a point of, you know, single jointed figure. You know, the materials are very rough, so it's a little difficult to pose, and she's got weird screws on her feet, right? So as a figure standpoint, she was but that's a testament to Hot Toys, though, because if you remember last year, she was my worst figure of the year. But even as the worst, she's still great, you know, if that makes sense, right? Because it's so hard to say that, you know, and I look at it only as from a figure perspective, right? Not the character. Right. But you're right. The character is getting more screen time, you know, with season 2. It's awesome. So I agree with you. Like everything Mando, I haven't really had a dud. I don't feel like anyway. Exactly. I have every Mando figure so far, and I love all of them.
Exactly. And when it comes to the MCU, you know, I'm a guy that loves the MCU. Like I made sure to get everything from Infinity War and Endgame. And even now, like looking at these shows, now we're in this new era of Marvel with the shows. I'm like, am I going to go all in on the shows, or do I don't feel compelled to go all in on the shows. Not just yet, you know, outside of the Falcon, the Captain America Falcon, outside of that figure and maybe the WandaVision figures, I'm not sure if I'm going to go. Oh, and the Loki figures. Well, there you go. That's like 3 shows right there.
So you're still into some.
I'm still into some. So, but even with after those shows, I'm still kind of like, I think I'm good for now. I think I'm good, but that can change. Like my friend said, that was just on the show. That can all change. It doesn't take much to turn this all around. A Mando will come with a new season. It will be fire. A Marvel show will come with I don't know, this Secret Invasion show may come out and just blow everybody's socks off, and everybody is back on Marvel.
Even looking at the announcement of Deadpool 3 all of a sudden too. Right now, all of a sudden, that hype is coming back for Deadpool, for Wolverine. You know, it just there's always these lulls, and you know, but sometimes even not. Like we're not in a lull technically right now with Marvel television, right? In fact, we've been getting show after show after show right now. Moon Knight, I totally forgot about that. See, I didn't. You know, that's what I mean. I'm like, dang, like. I'm not feeling that anymore, right? It doesn't feel like they were great shows or enough for me to be like, yo, I really need to get these figures.
Exactly. I feel like that. I feel the same way. I feel exactly the same way about Moon Knight. I think Moon Knight started off very strong, something very different, and then it just kind of fizzled out. Sorry. It definitely kind of fizzled out. For anybody that liked it, I am so I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you that you liked it. That's just my opinion. It just fizzled. It just seemed to fizzle out a little bit. It's just they got in a point to like, okay, where do we go with this? We need more episodes, but we have to finish at this episode. So we're just gonna finish it out. And that's what I feel with a lot of these shows. I think they need maybe 1 or 2 more episodes, or maybe fewer episodes to really tell a compelling story and just get in, get out, and make it work. And that's probably what we're missing, but who knows? It's either there or there at this point.
Yeah. No, I agree, man. I do, man. But you know what, man? Let's wrap it up, brother. I'm glad you called in. I know I got some other people waiting to call, but dude, that's so cool of you to call in and talk about this stuff, man. As always, you know, I appreciate it, brother. Everybody in the chat, Brother Cousins, my man. I'll put a link in the description for your channel too, by the way, if you guys have not checked out Brother Cousins. Please do so.
Appreciate it, brother.
Of course, man.
Always appreciate it. Always a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. I'll talk to you later, man.
All right, brother. You too, man. All right.
Peace.
All right, peace. Hey, what is going on tonight? Who am I talking to?
Mags, what's up?
Hey, what's up, dude? How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. Anthony, I got a little bit of a twist. My problem is not burnout. I'm like a dog with a squirrel. There's so much going on right now. This morning, I was on the Facebook page, and somebody posted the Joker from Mars Toys.
Oh, yeah.
Great. So now I'm checking that out tomorrow. I got all the Inquisitors coming out. I got, my God, there's so much. My brain is freezing up. There's Black Adam, right?
Oh, yeah, Black Adam. Yep.
Looks phenomenal. But the problem is now I'm also sitting there waiting for InArts. I want to see what they're going to do.
That's right. They're doing it too.
You know, yeah. And with all these things coming in and fading out, and you got, small batches, and the whole idea of sitting and waiting, it's not the fear of missing out. I work hard for my money. I want what I want. But there's so much out there. Thank God, it's a great time to be a collector.
Right.
But it's too much.
Yeah. No, I feel that. And that's a perfect analogy, man. Like a dog chasing a squirrel, right? Because it's like, where do you go? With so many properties and so many cool things, and then so much more to come, right? That's not even available yet.
Exactly. Tomorrow is the sideshows, their whole thing, and it's like, my God, are they going to drop the N1? And I just spent $108 putting down NRDs for all the Inquisitors and Vader and the Purge Trooper, and I bought Cobb Vance. I put down the NRD, and then I canceled that because then they came out with Black Adam. Because granted, I work hard and I make decent money, but I got a family. I can't my wife will come at me if I spend all this money on this stuff.
Right. So you're trying to prioritize
I got a budget
as best as you can.
Exactly.
Man.
But, you know, you see all this stuff, and it's like, my God, every 2 seconds or every day, something new is coming out. And it's like, you know, at the end of the day, we're adults, and we have to practice restraint. But, my God.
It's very hard to do sometimes, man.
Exactly. I don't have burnout. There's things I like, I go after. Things I don't, God bless, if somebody else wants them, that's phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I just... I don't bash nothing. To each their own.
No, I agree with you on that one. You know, we do have to. We are adults, but I do feel like, yeah, you're right. Like, we have to have discipline. Like, you know, and that's what happened with me. Like, I got rid of all my Marvel stuff. Right? And a lot of people are like, "Wow, how did you do that?" And I'm like, "Well, I just did it." You know, it's like it sucks.
How did you do that?
Right? They're like, you let him go? You got rid of the plastic? I'm like, yes, I did. I still have other plastic that I can covet, you know, and treasure. But like, no, that's how I felt, right? Because it's so hard, man, and it's like it's either money or space all the time, right? So
exactly,
that's how I had to go. I decided I'm out.
𝗦𝗢𝗏 put it best when he was saying that you are curating your collection. You know, it's guys who buy and sell and I got to have the newest one, this and that. Again, if that works for them, great. But, you know, 𝗦𝗏 makes me crazy sometimes, but he is right on so much when he was saying that you look at his collection and it's beautiful. And when he had that whole tour the other day, everybody was drooling because this guy's got stuff that nobody, you know, you either started later and you didn't get, or somebody sold, and it's beautiful. And, you know, he curates his stuff, and that's the mentality that I'm trying to take on. I don't want to be the dog with the squirrel, but at the same time, you know, so again, I got the Black Adam. Great. And again, I know there's no 𝗦𝗢𝗖𝗓𝗡 yet, and everybody's hoping and praying, and you know. But from what they've shown, I can just tell what this figure is going to look like, and I can see it on the shelf already. And then I've got the Hot Toys one mentally on the shelf, and I'm like, it's like you guys were saying today or yesterday with the rock bottom and all that stuff, and I'm like, I'm not going to be able to pull that off with the InArts one, but the Hot Toys.
Yeah, no,
I agree. Just give it a go.
Well, and that's what's hard too. Like what you're saying even now is that, okay, you got the Black Adam coming, but then InArt is coming, so we don't know. So it's like, do you wait, or do I just pre-order now, or do I, you know? And then with Sideshow, like obviously it's not like dangerous right now, but what the current trend is, like a lot of these pre-orders are hitting waitlist before they come out. So now there's this, you know, we're a little more reserved, and on top of the fact that, like you mentioned, you know, we all need to have some kind of restraint. So when you see all these things, I think of course, for the most part, we all want everything. I think, right? Because I don't care who you are. If I came to you and I was like, here's 30 Hot Toys of various IPs, I don't think anybody would be like, oh, I don't want that in my collection. you know, they may not buy it because it's not a priority, but I think if we all had all the money in the world, I think most of us would collect everything, and we just simply can't do that.
Well, the other day when the Leia showed back up on Sideshow, I don't have any of that stuff, and I don't really want any Sideshow stuff, but even I was like, oh, let me check. Of course it was sold out, but you know, just to have pieces like that, it would be nice. But maybe these pieces become those pieces. But who knows? You know.
Over time, I think over time. You know? And let's not forget. I know it's a little ways away, but we will have a 50th anniversary of A New Hope in like 5 years. So you know, they may do a bunch of reissues and stuff like that. I don't know. You know, we'll have to see.
Well, we got the Return of the Jedi coming too. So like all these squirrels running around.
I know, it's so hard, and that led me back to earlier where I was like, you know, I'm just going to get rid of the Marvel stuff because as much as I like them, I grew up more with the comics. So for me, it was like Star Wars is like the original trilogy is really what I love the most, right? So I was like, I'm just going to finish because I had most of everything already for original trilogy. I wasn't missing too much. So I was like, let me focus on that. And then with Mandalorian, it was like, when Mandalorian came around, it kind of brought my love back. I've never not loved Star Wars, or at least the original trilogy.
No.
But you know, the sequels and stuff, it all kind of like burned me out. And I wasn't honestly, I'm not a big fan of the prequels, even for that matter. So, But then when Mando came out, I was like, wow, yo, this feels like Star Wars again to me. It kind of like reignited that passion.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when he walked into the bar that first time, I felt like I was, 7 years old watching Star Wars again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
It's been a long time since I saw that.
Yeah.
I felt that.
Yeah, that's how I felt too, man. So that's where, like, as far as my Star Wars collection is concerned, it's original trilogy and then it's Mandalorian because of those two very reasons right there. Now, Book of Boba Fett, I think I could throw in there with the Mandalorian, if that makes sense, because I'm like, well, those two shows kind of run concurrent. So, and they like Fennec Shan, for example, they branded her Book of Boba Fett. We saw her before the Book of Boba Fett. We saw the hot toy before the show even came out. So you're like, oh, I'm gonna get that. That's gonna be Mando. But that's what I mean like that. So I'll probably, those two will kind of run in together with each other. And then if the other shows are good, maybe I'll consider, right? Because that's where the whole fatigue thing came in for me. I was like, ooh, there's too much. So. Well,
it's like 𝗬𝗢 was saying this morning, about or yesterday. I watch the videos every time, all time of the day, about how it doesn't matter about the IP; it's the character,
right?
And I get that. So it doesn't matter who they branded. If it fits in with you, then that's perfect. I mean, I originally was going to go for the black suit, Black Adam, because I like that grungy, like the beginning where he's, dark. But Leo was saying, the gold fits in with the comic. And I was like, yeah, I didn't even think about that. So I went with the gold, it's just because it doesn't matter whether the movie is bad or good. He's going to look badass on the shelf.
Right.
And, that's what I want. I want it to look good when I walk in my room. So.
Oh, yeah. No, I totally get that, especially for DC rep. Like, if you wanted to have a Black Adam with the other DC EU figures, regardless of the movie, you're like, oh, cool. This all comes together really nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, brother. I don't want to take you all day. I'm sure you got other people.
No, I appreciate it, brother. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for tuning in, and obviously you continue to support with everybody, man. Yeah, we'll definitely talk again soon as well. I'm glad you enjoyed the show, and it's awesome. It's awesome.
All right, you have a good night.
All right, brother. You too, man. Alrighty.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. All right, bye-bye. Hey, what is good, my friend? I believe this is Shawn.
What's up, Joe? Yep.
What is up, my friend? How you doing?
Good. Just got off work, man.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. So, watched the show last night.
Supply chain.
I'm sorry?
Dealing with supply chain thing.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I know you were in the chat last night, man. I know you were watching, and typing and whatnot. I mean, what do you think, man? Do you feel the same way? I mean, do you have some franchise fatigue going on for you a little bit, or is that not an issue?
No. I've learned from collecting. I opened shop at January. I closed shop at around September, and then I started back up in January. So I get like a break, like a around the holidays break, and then I start back up in January. And then I do all my pre-orders ahead of time and know what I want. And then I start paying them off, in January. January, I start paying them off. So I don't even have to worry about anything come out. Right. I think that's what you have to do. I think you have to do that now because the way things are changing. I know people say the FEMO or Sideshow is playing games with us. No, they're not. No, they're not. It's changing. I've said this for a year in the chat that Sideshow was going to change because they got burned on the Endgame, they got burned on Infinity War, they got burned on Star Wars,
right?
And now they're kind of like, we can't keep up with this. We're gonna change it, And now you're going to see every 6 months, you're going to see waitlist. You're going to see it. Like, and don't be surprised. Luke Skywalker, Bespin's going to be the next one to hit the waitlist.
See, that's what I'm concerned about. Right, and me as a collector, like just as Star Wars, right? And I don't want to say like screw all these other figures, because I get that. Like if people have that same passion or drive to those figures that are now hitting waitlist,
the collectors, it's kind of like these past 2 years, they've been like, I don't know how to say it, like, you know, like, man, how do you put it in a nice way, or you know, in a way like to understand it? It's like they've been babied. Like they've been getting chances, and now it's cut off, and now they're freaking out. Oh, is this true that they're going to really do this? Well, they're giving you 6 months to make a plan. You want it in 6 months, boom, that's it. Like it's cut off.
No, I see what you mean.
Mondo, they don't even do that anymore. They give you like literally 18 minutes. Like I think it's an hour to pre-order, or you're not getting it. And companies are starting to do that, and people are freaking out, like, oh, they're not doing like they used to, giving you a whole 2 years. Well, if they keep the pre-order for 2 years, they're never going to sell it out. So they have to change. They have to adapt. And that's what you're seeing. Sideshow is adapting. They're changing their ways. And it's better because everybody's been wanting low stock. They want low limited. They want it like value. Well, here you go. It's going to happen. You know, Cobb Van's going to be out for 6 months, and that's it. They're going to cut it off. Bespin Luke, I think we might have, maybe you might got to December. I don't even know.
Right, well, he came out at the end of April, if you remember.
That's what I'm saying. So April, you're looking at probably by December, he's going to hit waitlist.
Yeah,
he's going to hit waitlist.
Because we're approaching the 6 month mark now since the announcement of Bespin Luke.
Yeah,
and that's a concern.
Like I told you, I have a source. He told me that Sideshow is overstocked, and the only reason why you're not seeing releases right now is because Hot Toys is letting Sideshow get a chance to catch up, to get rid of their stock. After that, it's on game. It's going to be flooding. Waitlist, and it's going to change everything. And you're like, and you know, you're going to have to learn how to adapt. You know what I mean? You're going to have to learn how to adapt. You're going to have to learn how to plan. I got the heads up about a year ago, so I got a chance to like, okay, you know what? I know what I need to get. I know what I could plan this out. But there's some people who are thinking, oh no, Bespin Luke's going to be out for 2 years. Are you crazy? No, it's not. No, it's not not going to happen, bro.
Right?
You're going to have to adapt.
And I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, bro. Like with the whole, not necessarily like people have been babied. I know what you mean by that. Like it's that there's all these figures are going to be in stock for a couple years. We don't have to get them right now.
Yeah, they're used to it, and now they're seeing all this wait list. Like, well, times have changed. We're not in the pandemic no more. Everything's caught up.
Right,
and
or starting to.
Even more. So, like, Ginobili's been telling us for almost a year or two that this was going to happen. And I knew it a year ago. So Ginobili knew it like a little bit more before me that this was going to happen. And everybody's like freaking out. Oh my God, the Batman, the steps, it's on wait list. Well, dude, you had almost a year, like 6 months to pre-order that. Come on, dude. Like you wait for NR. I would be waiting for NR. You need to figure out what you want. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because everybody's, NR is coming out. Well, dude, I'm gonna honestly tell you the truth. It's either you pay Hot Toys or you pay NR. It's going to be that way. You know, and it's going to be that way from now on.
Yeah. No, I agree.
You know,
I agree.
And like The Rock, I knew it was coming out. Like I said, I have sources. I knew it was coming out. I was not shocked that they dropped it in 2 days because I knew it before that. And I'm going to get him. I'm going to watch the movie. I'm going to get him because he's going to be good with Superman. He's going to go nice with Superman. But do I, it's a good piece. It's a nice piece. But he's $360.
Yeah, that's a lot.
NR is going to be $700, like $600. And he's still cheaper than NR. And that's why people are like, you know what I mean? They gotta be either you want it the high premium for art, or you want the Hot Toys. That's the way it's going to be now. You're gonna have to plan out.
Mm-hmm.
But these people are like saying, "Oh, it's a play mode." Sideshow says playing with. No, they're not. They're not playing no more. It's game over. It's either you pre-order
Right.
in 6 months, or you're out. You're not getting it. That's it. And I mean, it doesn't bother me because I know what I want. Like these Inquisitors, they're going to be out in 6 months. That's it. They're going to be waitlist. So if you don't pre-order them in 6 months, they're gone. So that's why I pre-ordered them. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to take no chances. Just pre-order them. I'm going to pay them off anyway. They're $260. That's it. Done. I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah,
But
it feels that way, right? That there's a new. It's a little early to tell, but now we're approaching the second month, right? Now we're into October. This started in September, where, oh wow, these things are going waitlist. I don't understand. I don't. It does not compute.
I was told in June
that this would start happening.
This was going to happen.
Well, it seems that's where we're at now.
I like to get planned ahead, Anthony. I love to be planned ahead. So when he told me that in June, I was like, okay, let's see what happens. And guess what? It started happening. The waitlisting. I was like, oh, you know what? He was not lying to me. He's telling the truth. So I started planning ahead in August. Started seeing it, seeing what's going on, and now it's verifying. Everything he said is verified. The Sideshow has changed the way they're going to be doing business. It's like, okay, they don't trust now. You know what I'm saying? They don't trust us anymore.
Well,
because
I agree.
We cancel orders.
People cancel orders. People buy from overseas. People buy from buy-sell trade groups, and it's because of that very reason that, you know, if Sideshow has figures for, you know, I don't know, in stock for 2 years, then
they're not making any money.
Right, they're not making any money. But as a consumer, I'm like, well, why am I going to order this? I'm not going to pre-order this because it's just going to sit there, and somebody's going to end up selling their copy cheaper. Right, so I'll just go that route.
The reason why Sideshow is doing this is how it's called like bakery. They're processing us, teaching us like how to order. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's the only way you're going to fix anything. You can't keep going what you're doing because you're going to run your business down to the tubes.
Mm-hmm.
What they're doing is they're processing us like every 6 months. They're going to be a wait list. So you got 6 months to pre-order. That means you got 6 months to plan. Okay, do I want this figure? If you don't pre-order in 6 months, that's on you. You're not getting it. And it's going to be Marvel and Star Wars, DC too. But NR only has Warner Brothers. So let's just get that out of the water. They only have Warner Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And the only problem I have with NR is they started too early. They should have had America on wraps before they start putting out their product. They should have had all that done before they even started announcing they're going to do 1/6. That was their mistake.
Right,
if that's going to hurt them, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to hurt them. But if I was in the business, I would have had America down first, then start putting out the product, and then start the process. But they didn't do that. And now I don't know if it's going to hurt them. Maybe. Who knows? I don't know. But I know Sideshow is changing the way they're doing business. I've seen it. It's verified by my source.
Mm-hmm.
It's done. Like, we're going to have to adapt. It's it. And it's not like, oh, they're out to get us. No, it's the way the business works. It's the way we got to change. Because we went into this, I got $1,500 from the government, and I'm going to pre-order like a mother. And now it's like, look what happened to the market. It caused flooding.
Yeah.
And now you can't buy nothing. And then you have to sell your figure for like $200. Like, come on, man. Like, we need like, stop blaming. I don't like when people blame Hot Toys. It's not Hot Toys' fault. They have releases. It's already done. They're just waiting for Sideshow to clear out the warehouse, and it'll be out. I don't like when they blame Hot Toys. Oh, Hot Toys, it's Hot Toys' fault.
Oh yeah, no, it's not Hot Toys' fault at all.
It's not Hot Toys' fault, man.
No, I agree.
Sideshow orders so much shit, and then
right.
It's like, dude, like, stop blaming Hot Toys. It's Sideshow. Sideshow ordered so much stuff. They had faith in us, and a lot of people backed out. And guess what? Now we're paying the price. Now you're going to get waitlisted. Now you're going to have to plan it. I honestly, I like it. I like the way they're doing it. They should have done from day one. They didn't do it. That's their fault. Boom. That's on them. But now they changed. I'm glad they did, because now people, I don't have to hear, oh, my figure's going down in value. No, I don't have to hear that no more. It's like, okay, now everything's set. The force is all back to normal. Everything's come back to normal. It's like baseball cards. Baseball cards, it dropped for a long time, and then it came back.
Well, they're trying to
for a long time.
Comics did too, yeah. They're trying to course correct essentially right now. Get us back to how it used to be, like you were saying, where figures held some value.
Then,
if you miss them, you miss them.
Like you were talking about Captain America. There's 14 Captain Americas. That's crazy, man. I didn't even look at that. I was like, wow, man, there is 14 Captain Americas.
There might have been a couple I missed.
It's like, okay, I'm gonna tell you how this is going to happen. When you buy a figure, right? Mm-hmm. Like back in the day, right? And then you see a new figure come out, you're going to update that figure, right? You're going to take that other figure, you're going to sell it, and you're going to put a new one. That's what's going on right now. Every 5 to 10 years, they're going to do a 2.0, a 3.0, a 4.0 to switch out the figures. Like It might have a UPS base, or it might be light up, or a better head sculpt.
Right, some type of improvement.
So that's why I said, here's crazy. I used to have the Predators, the Aliens, the Back to the Future, the Terminators. I had all that, Anthony, and I sold it because my homeboy told me, hey, they're going to make 2.0s in the future. Why am I going to keep the old ones if they're going to make 2.0s? And he told me that.
That could be a never-ending cycle, though, too, right? Because they're going to do that again. Like, make no mistake. Like, everything that we have eventually is going to come back as an upgraded version or just a straight reissue. It's.
But I'm not going to complain because I just bought a house, man, with it. So I'm not going to complain.
Oh, no, absolutely, man.
I bought a house. So my investment is my house. I like to buy another house, have another investment. But I also like Hot Toys. I also like hobbies. So
this is a hobby for all of us. Right? I mean, at the end of the day, right? This is a hobby for us. It's not.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily look at it as like an investment. Sure, you want to hold some value in your collection, but
dude, I've never looked at Hot Toys as an investment. I never did. I just looked at it. Okay, I like it. I want it. Boom. That's it. I never looked at anything as investment.
Yeah.
It's not like you could take it with you in the grave. I mean, come on, like it ain't going with you.
Agreed. No, I agree, man.
You can't take a U-Haul with a carriage.
Yeah, you're not taking it with, man. Absolutely. So, all right, man. Well, Shawn, let's go ahead and wrap, brother, man. It's been good. I know I got some other people waiting in the line, man, but I do appreciate all that insight. I appreciate it very much, brother. And we will talk to you soon, man, my friend. You stay safe out there, brother. All right, brother. All right. Cool. What's going on? Who am I talking to tonight?
What's up, man? It's Damon, DK.
Hey, DK. What's up, my man? How you doing?
All right, man. Just hanging out.
Another day. I feel you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed you said you didn't quite catch everything last night, but you saw some of it.
Yeah, I think I caught like maybe the last 15, 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Of the last night. I had surgery on Friday, so I've been kind of in and out of it all weekend.
Well, hopefully a speedy recovery, right?
Yeah, so far so good.
That's good, man. That is good, dude.
So, I mean, I guess with the whole fatigue thing, the only thing that's really bothering me is it's just been more of the same. You know what I mean? Just kind of the same, reissue after reissue, which is fine in a sense. But there's stuff that Predator, Alien, there's a lot of movies like that I'd like to see reissued or, 3.0s, whatever, whatever they need to be. But,
oh yeah. I mean those are
things I want. Especially with Prey, man. That was a really good movie. I mean, in my opinion, and that would be a pretty BA figure.
Well, and I thought they were gonna. I really thought they were gonna do it. I really did. I thought, well, okay, Prey was a success. It's also love it or hate it under the Disney umbrella, So it's like, and then Hot Toys has made like 30 Predators over the years. So I thought, well, surely we're going to get a Prey and then maybe an opportunity.
Yeah, I mean,
to reissue some other ones.
What was the last Predator they put out? What was the last one? Was it Predators?
I think
that line?
That's from the 2010 movie. I think.
But when did those even? I don't even remember when.
I don't even remember. 2014, maybe. Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, we'd have to look. If you guys know in the chat, let us know. But yeah, it's been a while. I'll tell you that much. You know, so for the Marvel and to a lesser degree, I think with the Star Wars, that's where I was feeling it. You know.
Yeah.
Not so much, you know, with other properties, because other properties I want to be able to get those, like you said. I want more Predators. I want more Aliens, Terminators. Like, is it because I'm more connected to the 80s? I'm probably. But over time, I feel like we don't have as much diversity in properties as we used to, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's dominated by Disney right now. It's pretty much what it is. At least it's what it feels like.
Oh, it absolutely feels like it. The Predator was the last one in 2018.
2018.
Okay.
Thanks. 4 years ago.
Yeah. Wow. Well, did they make Hot Toys for that movie? See, I don't even know. I know they made a ton, right? And I have a couple, and then, you know, it's just, but a lot of them were old and they desperately needed 2.0s, and some of them did get 2.0s, but even some of those 2.0s need 3.0s at this point, you know? So
exactly. Yeah.
I'd love to see it.
For real. And then Shawn and the whole, about the wait list and stuff, like where is that line drawn at? Because there's still stuff that's been, you know, pre-ordered, you know, for going on 2 years, close to 2 years now. But still, you know, still isn't out, still hasn't hit wait list. But now you're seeing figures that have been out less than 6 months hitting wait lists.
Well, I think anything that hit like 2022 onward, I think are all going to be this new.
That's where it's going to start.
Yeah, right. Because the earlier stuff, like, it was still under the pandemic. It was still like people were finally running out of like stimulus stuff, the unemployment stuff. When I believe me, that's a big factor. There was a big factor in a lot of collectors coming in like that, right? So
it was. That's how I got in the game.
Oh,
or at least it made me, because I was so bored not doing nothing.
Well, that's a fair point.
Go ahead and start buying stuff.
No, that's a fair point, right? So it's that, you know, but then a lot of people have dropped, right? They've gone back to work or back to their lives, you know. So, not everybody, but there was a lot of people that just came in, like you said, you know, something to do, and then maybe they weren't full into collecting, but they enjoyed it, and now they're out, and that has an impact on all businesses, right? So Hot Toys is no exception. So now you're getting the situation that we're seeing now is like I said, I think anything 2022 onward, these new announcements, these are the ones that we're starting to see, like, oh, damn, this thing's going waitlist now. All the old stuff, yeah, it's probably going to be something.
And then since Peace, you know, since he's the one that pretty much started the whole thing, I wanted to get that figure, but I was going to wait to see what other coming out. And now that's, well, crap. You know, I had King Shark pre-ordered. I ended up canceling that one. So I wanted them the team, you know, so I don't want to wait and see, you know, if I'm not even going to be able to get it, you know, for a good price. You know, if it does happen, then it happens. But yeah, I was going to get that So Toys Bloodsport. Yeah, I just said F it. Just go another way now, you know, just
right. Change it up.
Because I'm mainly a DC. I'm mainly DC collector, DC and Star Wars, and then I have a ton of Predators and stuff. But mainly I focus on DC. I think I have most. Well, I'd say it's pretty even in Star Wars, but mainly Star Wars. I've been collecting just Mandos. You know, if they wear Mandalorian armor, I got it.
Right.
I have like 6 Boba Fett's because I like Boba Fett.
Oh, yeah.
And then like the regular Star Wars, I mainly only you know, like mainly the villains. You know, Vader, Maul. I have all the Mauls. You know, I have an Anakin. You know, I have a couple other ones, but there's just so much, and there's not enough room, or at least me. I'm running out of room now. I probably have about 20 figures boxed up because I know where to put them.
Ooh. I know that feeling. I've been there.
But it's like, but I want them. I'm gonna eventually get another because I just bought and I'm gonna have more display because my pretty much like 90% of my displays at my job, at my work. So once I get my house put together, because it's under construction right now. I'll have a spot in here dedicated to some stuff, but yes, it's like now because if it goes, if it sells out, and then I'm gonna have to pay maybe double for it, and when I can just get it for half the price now, and it's just gonna.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true, but it sounds like you're picking and choosing specifics though too, which is good. That's smart. Right?
Yeah, I haven't. I'm trying to think. I haven't really collected any lines, full lines. I mean, I think there's some DC. I think out of the DC line, my fullest line is probably the Arkham City, and the only one I don't have is the Arkham Knight. This is so much money.
And you have to have two of them.
I don't think he's.
You have to have two of them. That's the only figure. I don't think you have to.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't think he's really worth like the $500 price tag he's been.
No.
I don't.
No.
I really don't think I paid $500 for one figure, but I mean, I don't know why. I guess I just had the money, but
right. If you got the money and you want it, I mean, I've done it. I think we've all at some point been there, But with Arkham Knight, it's like he is two figures. I mean, he can be Arkham Knight and he can be Red Hood. So you're like, I wanted both of those. Like, I wanted them, but again, the price was too high. And I've seen them floating around $350, $400, which is I don't mind paying that. It's kind of rare, but I've seen that.
Yeah, like $450, $400, maybe. Maybe I can squeeze that. I almost got one for $375, but somebody got it out from under me. Like, pretty cool. It was one of those live auction shows. So
oh yeah,
I should have grabbed it then, but whatever. I got some other figures from that. But yeah,
yeah, he's one. That was one for me. But again, it was like, oh shoot, I want to get both of them. I need 2 copies. Otherwise it's not. And I didn't get him when he came out, so then we have to pay the price on some of those guys. Man,
yeah, I wasn't even collecting when he came out. So. Like I guess right when the lockdowns, when I was locked down, that's when I jumped in the collecting game. I've done hot toys for a long time. I have a buddy who's collected them for years. And I just never, I just finally took the plunge. I was more of a, 1/12 scale, and I pre-ordered. My first pre-order was Mando, the original armor, the Durasteel. My first pre-order, and then we shut down, and I was like, well, shit, I'm gonna get this Vader off eBay. Got the Vader.
Right.
And then I was, on Sideshow learning the ins and outs of Sideshow. And then I jumped on a wait list for Darth Maul, the DX16, I think, just the regular one. It went waitlist, and then I got it the next day. They say, hey, you can buy this. I was like, okay, bye.
Oh, nice.
Then I got those in hand. I'm like, once I had that Vader in hand, I was like, dang, man, that's like, what have I been doing all these years not collecting these things? So yeah, that started. Now I'm probably like at 100 figures now. So.
Oh yeah, you're in deep, man. You're in deep.
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster. But.
Hell yeah. No, that's awesome, dude. That's awesome, man. Yeah, very cool, man. I mean, and you're sticking it out, so that's cool, right? There's, I try to tell people that there's a lot of people that came in, from pandemic, and they're still here, which is great. I know there's a lot that had left, and understandably. If they're getting back to life or whatever. But I think that's where that's why we're kind of hitting like where we're at now with a lot of like what's been going on, with manufacturing, with distribution, like the world's coming back. And now things have to they have to adapt, they have to change. And I think, if they're changing, we're forced to change with this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
that's cool, man. Yeah, I just want to call in. I had a little bit of time. So.
No, I appreciate it. Appreciate you calling in, brother, man. That's awesome, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So
no problem.
Yeah, man. Well, we'll talk again soon, man. I do appreciate it, man. You have a good rest of your night.
Yep.
Awesome.
Hey, take care, man.
All right, bud. All right, you too. Hey, how's it going tonight? Who am I talking to tonight?
It's me.
It's me.
Hold on. I got to turn this thing down.
Oh, are we hearing your...
All right, go ahead. My bad.
My bad. Okay, this is Shane, my man, aren't you? Weasel. Figures.
Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing?
What's good, brother? It's been a minute.
Yeah, it is.
Well, we were just talking about last night's stream. I didn't know if you caught it.
Did not get to catch it. I was busy with the family. Yeah. So yeah, what's this franchise fatigue? What is that?
Yeah, we were talking about, like, are you getting burnt out at all from certain properties? You know, like, is too much? Like, in particular, I was really talking about like Marvel, where, you know, are you buying figure after figure after figure from show after show after show at this point? Does it feel like it's getting a little stagnant?
No. Yeah, well, yeah, I guess it can. It is. Everybody will hate my opinion on the Iron Man. They can put out any Iron Man they want. I don't care. I'll take it. But
well, you have like a million Iron Mans.
Though, yeah, well, I love that one. But when it comes to the shows, it's just I can't get a lot of them. I can't get engaged with. So they really, if I don't watch the show, I really don't want the figure, honestly.
Right. No, and that was our point. Like, if we get them just to get them, or, you know, just completely pass because we're not into the show.
Right. I mean, there's certain characters, like I collect Batman. So, I mean, or, you know, anything like there's a particular character that you like. Yeah, you're going to get the character, whether it be a comic series or a movie style or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to get your character because you love them, you know?
Right.
But when it comes to show-based things like The Mandalorian, you know, I love that show. You know, I got freaking all of them. But so when it comes to that, yeah, that's something I want to get. You know, like you said earlier, when they cross over from Book of Boba Fett, it's kind of almost the same show almost.
Yeah, because they're running concurrent, you know, with each other.
Right. So yeah, those are ones I'm definitely not going to miss. You know, I haven't even watched Andor yet. I want to, but I haven't had a chance. But I want to get into that one. I've heard it's pretty good. So.
No, it's good. I watched the first 3 episodes. I need to catch up on episode 4. It's not a bad show. Yeah. It's a little slow, but okay. It's not bad. It's not bad.
More storytelling. I like storytelling though.
Yeah, it's definitely more story driven. Slow burn, I think. I think once it's all done, or at least this season, we can, you know, we can critique it as a whole and be like, oh, that's the story that was told. Okay, you know what I mean?
Right. But yeah, as far as franchise, I mean, there's a lot of things out there that can be done and should be done, but are they popular enough for them to make money? That's what it's all about. They have to make money. If they don't make money, then they're not gonna even, you know, look at it.
Right. No, they wouldn't. Yeah. You know, that's a problem. You know, because you would think, like, I mean, I get what you're saying. Like, if it's not that popular, then they're not gonna bother wasting and investing into. But like, maybe like some of the older stuff, do they understand that there's still a large market for what they used to make? You know, like Terminators and RoboCops and Aliens, Predators, other 80s movies. Like, I feel like there's still a market for that, right?
Oh, absolutely. Especially in I hate to say our generation type of thing. What we grew up with all those great movies and things like that, you know, that are classics and very nostalgic to us. So, you know, we can relate to them a lot easier than, you know, say like my kids. You know, they don't relate to those older things. You know, I'd love to have it's like an Eddie Murphy Beverly Hills Cop. You know.
Oh yeah, that would be great. And there was a nice like custom out there that I've seen. You know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, I want that. And other people, like you were saying, like your kids
Detroit
might be
jacket,
like, what's that?
You know,
Yeah. So there's a market, and we're older, right? So I feel like, you know, the people that are typically older more than likely have the money to buy the stuff. You know, so it's not to say that like, oh, there's no market. But I feel like maybe the situation is that, you know, Disney's been putting out so much stuff that, you know, Hot Toys is like obligated to fulfill. So they don't even have an opportunity to do those things.
Pressure. Yeah, right. Because they're under pressure from, you know, the big foot.
Well, no, really.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
So, yeah. I think that has a lot to do with it, you know, with them buying everything up, and then they have a bigger demand for them to, you know, because on the back end they make money on all of that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah, 100%. You know, and again, I don't feel like I don't feel like Hot Toys doesn't want to do it. I'm sure they want to do those, but
oh yeah, absolutely.
They just can't yet, right?
Yeah. It's like, you know, even when it comes to like DC, they're not as pressured by DC titles or figures or, you know, characters, because they don't have that kind of influence like Disney has, you know.
Right.
So, I mean,
that's true.
And that's just my thought. I mean, maybe I might be completely off, but, you know.
No, but probably though, right? I mean, yeah, we don't know, but we can assume. We can assume as much. I feel like if Disney wasn't so cranking out so much content, then Hot Toys would be like, hey, you know what? We're gonna go revisit Rocky or revisit Predator or, you know, something, right?
I mean, they just did one that was kind of cool. What was RoboCop?
RoboCop.
They just yeah, that was kind of cool. I mean, they am I gonna get it? I don't know, but it's cool that they're doing it. You know what I'm saying? I think it's great. You know, there's a lot of people out there that love RoboCop and probably want an Ed 209?
Yeah, Ed 209.
You know, maybe a revamped model of that, because the other ones are all falling apart.
It's true. It's true. And that's the thing for me. Like, I was shocked when I saw that RoboCop. Even though they've made them. But the point is like those days are, I felt, gone. So when I see, you know, something in 2022 get dropped and it's RoboCop, you know, that excited the hell out of me personally. That like kind of almost restored my faith in Hot Toys, which doesn't mean that I've like lost faith with them. It's that you know, they've become, for me anyway, very predictable. That it's just Disney stuff. It's Marvel, it's Star Wars. On an occasion, there's some DC. That's it. Boom. RoboCop.
Right.
Right? He's like, oh, wow. Some old properties. That's awesome.
Right. Yeah, no, because, you know, even with, like, everybody's on the Predator thing now again, you know, but the last time they put one out was what, 2017, I think? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was the Predators.
The Wolf Predator. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But you know, I was looking on their checklist, and I think the first Predator they put out was in 2005.
The model kits one.
Done, I think. Yeah, and I think they've done a Predator for every movie, I want to say.
Yeah, I just don't know if they did The Predator, the Shane Black movie from a few years ago.
Which one was that one?
The one
was it called Predator?
It was called The Predator.
Oh, I don't know if they did that one.
Yeah, I don't think they did that one, but they did like AVP and all that stuff, and they did Predators, the 2010 movie.
Yeah, and then the what was it, Requiem?
Yeah, AVP Requiem.
So yeah, so you know, I think we might get. I'm hoping that we get that new one, the Hunter Predator from the
from Prey.
Yeah, from Prey.
Yeah.
And I'd like to get the brother and sister set as well. That'd be a cool 2-pack.
Oh, that would be really cool. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
And possibly revisit some other Predators and bring them back.
Right. You know, because I mean, it's not far fetched. I got one Predator figure.
Me too. I have the Samurai Predator, and that's it. I'd love to have more.
Yeah. So, you know, I think what you're saying is that just these two lines are hitting us, and even with DC, we're getting stuff, but not as much. But when it comes to Star Wars and Marvel, yeah, we're completely swamped. You know, and like you said, it's the Disney's pumping out shows like crazy. You know, so it's hard to keep up. It's hard to keep up with just the shows. Nevertheless, trying to keep up with figures that come with those shows.
Right, absolutely.
You know?
No, I agree, dude. That was my whole point last night. It was like, wow, you know, you said it perfectly. It's hard enough to keep up with the shows, let alone all the figures that are coming. And to make no mistake, like, I like having the variety. I think it's great.
Oh yeah.
You know, because not everything's for everybody, but at the same time, like, you still have that a little bit of a drive inside where you're like, well, I still want to get those, even though, you know, maybe I didn't care too much about the show, but I like the property.
Right. Well, that's just, I just recently sold a bunch of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Because I just didn't have room. I need more room for stuff that I want more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So.
Well, it comes to a point where once space is filled, then you have to start kind of shuffling around.
Then you guys that's where the tough part comes in, because then you're like picking, you're like, oh, I really want that, but I really want that. Which one of these do I not want the most?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, I agree, bro. I agree. Yeah. Well,
and,
go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I said, me with customs and stuff, I'm always making something new. So I just did that Stan Lee.
Yeah, it looked great.
Yeah,
that looked
with
great.
Getting Ragnarok Barber Stan.
Did you post it in the Facebook group?
No, I haven't. Well, he doesn't have the right sneakers yet, so I'm not. Not ready.
You gotta wait till he's got the right shoes. No, that works, man. That works. So, well, shit, bro. Well, hey, man.
He looks pretty good so far.
He looks good, dude. I saw the picture. When you're ready, post in the Facebook group, because you guys don't know, Shane does a lot of cool custom stuff. It's really neat, man. He's got some awesome stuff. Yeah.
Well, thank you, sir.
No, of course, man.
Had a blast, and try and hook up with you next time too.
Yeah, brother.
No,
of course, man. I appreciate it, man. I will talk to you soon. You have a good rest of your evening, my friend.
All right, you too, man.
All right, brother. All right. Peace. Hello, who am I talking to tonight?
Yes, sir. This is Commander Green.
Commander Green in the house. What is up, dude? How you doing?
Yep, pretty good, man. This is Harold. But yeah, just wanted to give you a call. Obviously, I've been on a live stream with you before, but figured I'd do this at least once.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, dude. That is awesome. Everybody probably knows you, right?
Definitely need to talk about the fatigue for everybody. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, are you feeling it? I mean,
the thing is, and honestly, and I've been talking to a lot of different people too, and I'm a big fan of the Clone Wars, big fan of Troopers in general, and I'm definitely wanting to shift my collection over to that, to the point that I've even considered getting a 3D printer and trying to do a lot of custom work.
Oh, yeah.
And really just focusing on that. And then if there are any prequels or Clone War characters of the the main characters come out, then I would pick those up. But yeah, I think it's getting to the point where everybody really truly has to pick a lane, even in each IP.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
So,
that's what I was saying with OT. I was like, I have to get out, because I can't.
Yep.
I couldn't collect original trilogy and then prequel trilogy and then Clone Wars and Rogue One and and Mando. I was like, holy crap! I gotta. For me anyway, I had to make that decision. But 3D printing is a good way too, bro.
No doubt. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people starting to do it. I know Jeddah Patrol's doing it. Greg Cook, he's been doing that too lately, and sharing some stuff. And doing some clone armor, and it's definitely got me inspired. So that's something that I think is, definitely in the future for me.
Oh yeah, even Shane, who just was on previously, he's done some stuff like that, and that's super cool, man. If you want to build crazy clone troop armies, man, you can make all sorts of stuff that Hot Toys hasn't done or may not ever do, even for that matter.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I was looking into, and I know that you haven't watched all of it and gone through, but I mean, and I don't even know if you're familiar with Commander Doom. There's these one-off commanders that you only see maybe once in the series,
And that's
you know,
right?
maybe a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's like those are the ones that you'll probably never see. That would be, you know, pretty sweet to be able to make those.
Oh yeah. No, I got up to like season 6 of Clone Wars, but I don't really remember the specifics, right? Like I'd have to kind of revisit it again enough to know if like, oh yeah, it's that one guy who was in that one episode. Like I don't know, you know, like
right.
but no, but I know what you mean though. There's still a ton of potential there.
Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, it's like, and again, talking about fatigue and what companies do, and even going back to what Shawn said earlier too, about like the money for R&D for things too. I know like even Hasbro, I mean, they use their gaming greats line, their 40th anniversary lines, those repacks, the archive series, which is, you know, basically a lot of times, not even a 2.0. I mean, it's a straight up reissue, just in a different box.
Right.
Or different packaging, and then that basically generates that revenue to do the R&D for something that's unique. And you know, like you were saying about The Rock, like with his body for Black Adam, that would generate the revenue to build that figure.
Right. New R&D, right?
Yeah. So I mean, you see a lot of companies, I think, at every level, you know, really doing stuff like that. So I mean, I don't hold it against them too much. I mean, obviously, as much as I would like, you know, every clone ever made or ever shown to be made, I still understand it's like you've got to have variety out there. Otherwise, that makes the line stale, and then people will just completely fall off.
Oh, yeah.
So.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that completely. You know, and it's hard. I mean, you know, at least we don't have it like what you're saying, right? Like with Hasbro and stuff like that, they're just straight up repackaging shit. Like, you know, so at least Hot Toys is I think they're still safe in that territory. I don't think they've gone full Hasbro, right? I mean, we've seen a couple reissues, some 2.0s, but I think some of them, for the most part, are okay, right? Especially if they're 2.0s. That's a big difference, right?
Exactly.
I don't know if much Hasbro stuff has changed over the years personally to where I would be like, oh, look, they've engineered these better, right? Versus Hot Toys in that respect.
Exactly. Yeah, and I see, because they actually, I think it was today or yesterday, they actually showed like reveals for their 40th anniversary releases for next year, the carded figures, and they're basically exactly the same. Same accessories, same figures, no different engineering to it, no different paint. They're, you know, those just basic figures that had been released before. So,
yeah.
And again, and maybe they'll probably still have things in the main line that will fill in gaps and be different than what they have. But, you know, a good chunk of what they do now is that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think like I had a Grand Admiral Thrawn that was a Black Series, you know, board, and then all of a sudden they did this like archive one on like different box, and I ended up getting it. I don't really collect a lot of Black Series. I just like Thrawn. And, you know, I was like, I held both of them in my hand, and I was just trying to stare at them back and forth. I'm like, I think this is the exact same figure. Like, you know, I was trying to look at subtle differences, but I couldn't really find any.
Yeah, I think a lot of them too, they'll keep like the same sculpt, the same, like the mold and everything is the same, but I know they have that new digital printing that they're able to do that makes the eyes look a little bit more realistic. So I think that's probably the only upgrade that they even really have compared to what they've done in the past. So yeah. No,
I think so, man. But yeah, I mean,
but yeah, like I said, I just wanted to, you know, weigh in on that. Like I said, it's definitely, there's one. I mean, I could make it if I really wanted to. I could make it happen and get one of each figure. But I think what it comes down to is being selective. Like I bought 2 Dark Troopers. Like I would rather pass on some certain figures because I love that Dark Trooper so much. I was like, I've got to get 2. So you've got to pick and choose like what you want to do, and just don't look back because it might kill you.
I know, right? And listen, and I will say low key, man, that Dark Trooper is like figure of the year for me as far as troopers are concerned, man. That Dark Trooper's a sleeper, man.
It is. It's a solid figure. The only issue I had is those little sliding pouches that are on the belt. And when the first one that I got, I turned and they popped off, which they'll glue right back on. It's not that big of a deal, but yeah, I mean, otherwise it's just a solid, hefty figure. It's like everything ratchets. Like once you get it set in a pose, it's not.
Oh yeah, he
anywhere,
ain't moving.
so.
He ain't moving, bro. Yeah, I love it.
No.
Yeah.
Beautiful figure.
Absolutely.
But yeah, man, like I said, just wanted to call in and just say hey, and definitely looking forward to doing this down the road too, man.
Yeah, man. No, I appreciate it very much, man. That is so cool, man. So yeah, man, I do appreciate, and we'll definitely talk again soon, I'm sure.
All right, brother. Have a good night, man.
All right, you too, brother. All right. See you.
All right.
Hey, how's it going tonight? Who am I talking to this evening?
Yo, what's up? It's the boogeyman himself, 1/6 shape. What's going on?
Oh, the boogeyman. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Not much, man. What's going on? How's it going today?
It's going, man. It's going, man. I've been having a lot of good conversations tonight, man. It's been cool. I know you've been listening.
Yeah, man. Finally just called in. Yeah, as far as like franchise fatigue for me, man, it just comes down to the actual content itself, dude. It's just there's so much. It's oversaturated. I don't have time in this world to just watch it all. And it's not really gaining my interest. You know, all this stuff used to be like such an event where you're like, oh, it's coming. And now it's just like next month we got this, and then this, and then this. I'm just like, oh man.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it's like I've just been watching I just got done watching The Offer, that show about making The Godfather, which is one of the greatest movies ever made. That's a good show, and of course, like I've been sticking to a lot of horror and stuff like that recently through Shudder. So I've just kind of stopped watching, the quote unquote nerdy stuff for a little bit. Just trying to take a break from it.
Right. Yeah, because it's a little, like you said, it used to be an event, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, dude, like when those sequels, the Star Wars sequels comes out, I mean, I loved Force Awakens, even though it was a complete, reboot of A New Hope and stuff. But like that left you going, and then, history is recorded about the next two. But even after The Last Jedi, I was still feeling excitement of Rise of Skywalker. I was hesitant, but I was like, oh, here it comes,
Right, just to see like how yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and then that happened, and then what was the next thing you were looking forward to they were coming out with? Mandalorian. Thank God that is a fantastic show, but then after that, dude, it's just a snowball effect. It's like, all right, well then here's a Marvel show, and then next week here's another Star Wars show. Well, you want animation, you got it. It's just I'm just like, dude, chill, please. Let me digest what you're giving me here.
Right. Well, I think part of it is they try to justify your $9.99 a month or whatever, right? So they're like, how do we keep people subscribed to our service? Well, let's just keep putting content out over and over and over and over and over, so that because what happens, right? We've seen it happen with a lot of other, like Netflix in particular, right? Like some people would, they'd subscribe, they'd watch Stranger Things or something, for example, and then they'd unsubscribe. I'll come back next year. And I'll resubscribe. And I think Disney's, what they're trying to do is keep people locked in to that monthly subscription. And how do they do that? Well, they're going to have to keep giving us content, good or bad, because we won't know if it's good or bad yet until we've done watching it. So, you know what I mean? You're like, man, there's a new show. I guess we got to watch it. Let's see how it goes. I hope it's great. And then you get through it, but all the while you get through it, you're subscribed. So I totally get what you're saying. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably, I don't know how this is going to work. Their ad tier now is going to be the price of like what we're all paying for anyways. So like, I don't even know if I'm going to keep my subscription because I can't stand the ads. I don't want to be, balls deep into the Mandalorian. All of a sudden, oh, here comes an ad. That's just going to throw me off.
Yeah, no, me too.
As far as fatigue on the collecting side, man, I think if you're suffering from fatigue of that, you have to kind of think to yourself, am I just collecting one sort of IP? Or if that's the case, do you want to think outside of the box? And then that's another question is if you want to start collecting something else, if you're sick of Hot Toys as Sting, take a look at Blitzway. Is that right, Blitzway, or am I thinking something else?
No, there's Blitzway. Blitzway did some stuff. Enter Bay,
3-0. I mean, dude, those Rambos are amazing. The Rambo 3 and the Rambo First Blood that they put out, great looking figures, man. They're awesome. You can also branch out to Caustic Plastic. You know, they have that amazing Bela Lugosi figure. It's not Dracula. They don't have the license to Dracula, but they have the license to the likeness of Bela Lugosi. So that is an amazing figure. They just announced Nosferatu from. I
saw that too, bro. For the 100-year.
Dude, oh my God, that looks so awesome, dude.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're a horror fan like I am, dude, I mean, these figures, they are for what they are for the price point. Trick or Treat Studios, they have the Halloween license. They're coming out with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre stuff. They're coming out with Return of the Living Dead. You know, there's always other options out there. I think, you know, no one has to really confine themselves in just collecting Hot Toys. You know, if you love the scale of the 1/6 scale, there's just so many things out there that you could just, you know what, take a break from Hot Toys, go over here for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know?
And a lot of great third-party stuff, too.
That Cesar Romero, man.
I'm
boy.
I need that. And they showed that Riddler and Penguin, too, coming. I'm like,
oh, dude. Oh, man. And if they come out, oh, dude, that'd be awesome. They came out with, like, both versions of Catwoman, the Eartha Kitt and, Julie Newmar. Oh, that's going to be good.
I'd love it. I would get all those. And it sucks because, you know, I've been looking for that 66 Batman and Robin forever. And now it's like, oh, okay, I have to get them. I have to get them now. Now that I'm seeing all this stuff, and that's the point, right? You're like, oh, well, look, it's different. It's different. It's not, you know, this is something that brings me back to childhood times. You know, growing up watching the reruns and stuff, of course, you know, but nonetheless, it's not new wave of content coming, right? You're like, oh, look, I can get this stuff from back in the day that I really like. That's exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Man. It's funny because when you had Shane on and he was going through the checklist, I was also going through the checklist too to see the years of when these Predators came out and stuff. And I think Hot Toys' biggest issue right now is not necessarily, I mean, it is an issue for them, but, you know, bringing out nothing but Star Wars and Marvel, I kind of feel like they might have some issues trying to acquire these licenses. It's the same thing with NECA because the Predators were all on the Hot Toy side, and then with NECA, I think they took over the license and they became exclusive to Predators. They're really not releasing any more Alien and Predator stuff. Now they're really more focused on Ninja Turtles and Gargoyles and more of the animated stuff, and then the horror stuff. Of course, like if you guys collect NECA this month, they're going to be doing 31 days of reveals of nothing but horror stuff.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and then I was like, well, when did the Arnold Schwarzenegger figures come out? You know, the Dutch came out like around 2005 or something like that, and then the Terminators and the Commandos and stuff, they were coming out like, you know, a few years down later, around the same time that NECA also had their Terminators, the Commando. I have all their Conans. So I think it's just a licensing thing that they're just kind of stuck on, that for some reason they only can have what Disney gives them and what Warner Brothers gives them. They have the Back to the Future stuff, but there's just so much more Universal that they could do with. I mean, they can do some Jurassic Park shit if they wanted to.
Yeah,
or
that would be sweet.
They could do Conan, dude. That company that went down during the pandemic, Chronicle Collectibles.
Yeah,
I had their Conan on pre-order, fully paid off. So excited, and then they went down. They had that. They had Labyrinth license. They had Jurassic Park licenses and stuff. Like, it's out there. I don't know why Hot Toys just doesn't go, all right, let's get this.
Well, I think they're just so backlogged. I think they're, for lack of a better word, they're Disney's got the boot on them. Really, I mean, what are they going to do?
Yeah,
they're a Disney company basically at this point. Which, not complaining, but I just don't think that they can get. You know what I mean? They don't have the time with 150 pre-orders already, and then Disney coming out with all this content. It's just like, can we even swing that? Can we go try to grab this, you know, Jurassic Park license, or reacquire maybe the Predator license if that's the case? You know what I'm saying? It's tough. It's tough.
It is. I think they kind of have to start catering to like the collectors that got them, you know, there in their position that they are now, man. Like, you know, think about us that don't like, you know, for every 2-3 Star Wars Marvel figures, release a one-off or something like that. You know, give us something, you know, different. Test the waters. I think that's why they're testing the waters with RoboCop. They're like, oh, we see that it's fetching high money in the aftermarket. There is an interest. Here you go. Let's see where this is at. And if that fails, I think they're just going to be too scared to do whatever else. But so I think it's important. If you love RoboCop, dude, get the RoboCop.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah, I'm getting that RoboCop. And
I'm getting it
also
too,
to
man.
support that, right? Like you said, be like, hey, look, we want this stuff.
Yeah, they go off by data, man. Show them the data. Show them that, you know, that you want your shelf filled with stuff besides Troopers and Spider-Mans and what else?
Yep.
You know?
100%, brother. So,
For real.
yeah, man. Well, shoot, man. Let's go ahead and wrap. How about that, guys? Because it is getting there. We got a lot of good calls tonight, dude. So I do appreciate you calling in, brother, as always. And I know I'm probably going to talk to you again.
Of course. All right. You have a great night, brother.
All right, bro. You too as well. All right. See ya.
All right. Peace.
Once again, everybody, thank you so much for calling in this evening. Again, if you guys are new to this and you want to come support the channel, become a channel member, give us a call. We do this every Sunday around 4 to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, where we call in, we talk, we discuss great stuff, guys. Until then, we will see you guys next week. Hope everybody has a great rest of their night. We'll see you later.